Introduction to Economics, Roots of Economic Way of Thinking, Part 13, adapted from my college notes taken a couple of years ago, presented by Doug Bainbridge. Introduction to Tax Analysis. Left shows the initial status for our example, where we will place a $1 tax per pack of playing cards. Questions. Does it make any difference to tax producers or consumers? Who actually pays the tax? How do I handle it analytically? And what will happen to average quality? Continuing, below is an example where the tax is assessed on the producer of playing cards. Note there's a shift in supply. Remember from the previous slide where P sub 0 and Q sub 0 are the initial equilibrium price and quantity without the tax. Now with the tax assessed on the producer, you'll see PTC on the left, the red line. That is the price that is paid after the tax by the consumer. And you'll see below the price RC, PRC, the green line. That is the price level that the producer realizes, or the revenue level, after the tax is assessed. And the quantity reduces to the quantity level QTC that is lower than the Q sub 0, the initial status. So, the consumer price after tax is that PTC. The producer price received after tax is the PRC. And in this case, of course, the PTC minus PRC equals $1. And the PTC minus PRC is therefore greater than the PTC minus P sub 0. And then it's also the case where the PTC minus P sub 0 is less than the entire tax. And remember that the height of the supply curve is the marginal cost. So if you impose tax on the producers, a firm's marginal cost of production raises $1 per pack. Now let's look at tax revenue. Tax revenue is, of course, the tax amount times that QTC quantity amount, or the PTC minus the PRC times the quantity TC, which of course is in other words $1 in this case, because it's $1 per pack tax per the number of packs of cards that are sold. The green area plus the yellow highlighted area of the graph represents the profit before tax. The yellow highlighted area represents the profit after the tax. So the profit realized by the producer is reduced as a result of the tax. The consumer gain or consumer surplus before the tax equals that orangish salmon color area plus the gray area before tax. And the consumer surplus after the tax is reduced to the gray area. So in this case, the foregone gains of trade or welfare losses due to the tax is that orange area plus the green area. Conclusion. The graph shows an example of what may happen if you impose the tax on the consumers. As you can see, it looks like the previous graph, except the shift is in demand. In other words, the consumers notice a higher price and they purchase less. The demand reduces due to the higher price. Therefore, there's no difference in the implicit price that consumers pay and producers charge if you impose the tax on producers or if you impose the tax on consumers. To answer the questions from prior slide, does it make any difference to tax producers or consumers? No. Who actually pays the tax? Producers and consumers. Remember, there's those foregone gains, the orange and the green areas there. How do I handle it analytically? What I have shown here from my college notes is a very basic beginning introductory approach to handling this analytically. As you might imagine, it gets a lot more complicated quickly when looking at so-called real-world situations. What will happen to average quality? Something to think about when a producer is now receiving less revenue due to a tax. How does this affect the motivation of a producer in reference to quality? It's a good question to ask. There are many reasons for a tax to be assessed, and I believe this presentation does a good job providing an introduction to how to analyze the situation. Plenty more to talk about this in future discussions, and enjoy reading and researching this because it's one of those very deep subjects with a lot to talk about. Hope this has been helpful. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye.